Welcome to the deep dive. You mentioned wanting to get up to speed on emerging trends, and, well, crypto casinos are certainly making some noise.
They really are.
So today we're diving into an article from Casino Rank Elite, ABC. It's called Exploring the World of Crypto Casinos. Are They Worth the Hype? Think of this as your fast track to understanding what's really going on.
Exactly. Our aim is to pull out the key insights from this piece, give you that balanced view on whether these platforms actually live up to all the buzz.
Yeah, look beyond the hype.
Hmm.
So our mission, get you fully briefed, quickly and thoroughly. We'll look at the features, the potential upsides, and crucially, the risks. So you can figure out if crypto casinos are something you need on your radar.
And that core idea, using blockchain to disrupt online gambling, promising speed, and decentralized transactions, it is pretty compelling stuff on the surface.
It really is a whole new layer on a very established industry.
Definitely has some big implications.
Okay, let's get down to basics then. What exactly are crypto casinos, in simple terms?
Okay, so essentially they're online casinos, but they operate using blockchain technology. This lets them accept cryptocurrencies, think Bitcoin, Ethereum, that sort of thing, for deposits, bets, withdrawals, instead of, regular money.
Right, instead of dollars or euros.
Mhm.
So when did this all start, and what's the fundamental difference compared to the online casinos most people know?
Well, the article points to around 2014. That's when the first one started popping up. Platforms like BitStars were some of the early players.
Okay.
And the core difference, it's really about cutting out the middleman, the traditional banks and payment processors. Blockchain acts like this shared digital record book. Everyone can see it, but no single entity controls it.
Making things more transparent, harder to mess with.
Exactly. And that transparency and efficiency is what underpins a lot of the benefits they talk about.
Okay, and one of the biggest benefits that jumps out, according to the article, is speed, like really fast transactions.
Oh, absolutely. This is a huge selling point. The article mentions, for instance, withdrawing Ethereum on a platform like stake.us. It can literally happen in minutes.
Minutes.
Hmm.
Compared to what, like days sometimes with traditional methods?
Yeah, exactly. Compare that to a standard bank withdrawal, which could easily take up to 48 hours, maybe longer. It's a massive difference in getting hold of your cash.
Wow. The article even quotes a 2024 survey. Apparently, 78% of players said they prefer crypto specifically for quick payouts.
That really tells you something, doesn't it? It highlights a key reason people are drawn to this. Nobody enjoys waiting around to get their winnings.
No kidding. That instant access must really improve the whole gaming experience.
Definitely. Though, quick access can be a double-edged sword, might encourage more betting for some, but offers flexibility for others.
True. Okay, so speed is a big plus. What about privacy? That's another area people talk about with crypto.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. A lot of crypto casinos apparently have less stringent Know Your Customer, or KYC, checks.
Those are the ID verification things, right?
Right. Traditional casinos usually require quite a bit of documentation, but the article points to platforms like BC Game, where sometimes just an email address is enough to get started playing.
So for anyone listening who really values their online anonymity, this could be a major draw.
Precisely. If you prefer keeping a lower profile online, crypto casinos can seem very appealing.
But there's got to be a catch, or at least a warning.
Well, yes, a crucial one the article makes. You have to check your local laws. Anonymous betting isn't actually allowed everywhere.
Okay. Good point. And even if it is allowed, what about staying secure? Does the article offer tips?
It does. A couple of practical things, like using a fresh crypto wallet address for each transaction that helps break the chain, makes it harder to link your activity.
Makes sense.
And also using a VPN, a virtual private network. That encrypts your connection and can hide your IP address, adding another security layer.
Okay, good tips. So speed, privacy. Now let's talk bonuses. That's always a big motivator. Are crypto casinos generally more generous?
The trend highlighted in the article seems to be, yes, often the crypto bonuses are bigger than what you find with traditional currency casinos.
Bigger how?
Well, it gives a pretty striking example. 7-Bit offering up to 5.25 Bitcoin plus free spins. I mean, that kind of number really dwarfs typical bonus caps you see elsewhere.
Whoa, 5.25 Bitcoin. Depending on the price, that's a lot. It makes you wonder how they can sustain offers like that. Are there different types of bonuses too, unique to crypto?
The article mainly focuses on the size, but yeah, that figure alone is a headline grabber.
Okay, but hang on. Big numbers usually mean big requirements, right? What's the fine print on these crypto bonuses?
You're absolutely right to be wary. The article definitely flags this. High wagering requirements are common. It mentions figures around, say, 35 times the bonus amount.
35 times, so you'd have to bet a huge amount before you could actually withdraw any winnings from that bonus.
Exactly. It can
Yeah,
be substantial. So the key takeaway, and the article really stresses this, is always read the full terms and conditions every single time, no exceptions.
absolutely essential advice. Okay, so we've hit some potential plus points. What about the downsides? The article brings up crypto's volatility, which is, well, pretty famous.
Yes, and that's a major risk factor you can't ignore. The value of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin can swing wildly up or down very quickly.
And that directly impacts your winnings, right?
Directly, the article paints a clear picture. You could win a certain amount in Bitcoin, feeling great, but by the next morning, its actual dollar value could have dropped significantly.
Oof, that's a sobering thought. Does the article suggest any ways to maybe manage that risk if you do play with crypto?
It does mention using stablecoins, things like USDT or Tether. These are cryptos designed to hold a stable value, usually pegged one-to-one with fiat currency like the US dollar.
So using those could shield you a bit from the crazy price swings.
To a degree, yes, it offers more stability. But ultimately, the article suggests it's a trade-off. You need to weigh that potential for big gains from crypto appreciation against the inherent risk of sudden drops.
Makes sense. A calculated risk, I suppose. Now, what about the actual games? Is it the same stuff you find everywhere else?
Largely, yes. The article indicates you'll find all the usual suspects, slots, blackjack, roulette, live dealer games, you name it. Very similar to traditional online casinos in that respect.
Okay, so familiar territory.
But there's also a unique addition, provably fair games.
Provably fair. Okay, that sounds different. How does that work?
So these are games, often simpler ones like dice games or Crash, that use the blockchain itself to let you, the player, verify that the outcome was fair and wasn't manipulated.
How?
Basically, the casino uses cryptography to commit to the game's result before you even make your move. Afterwards, you get the data needed to check that the result they showed you matches the one they committed to earlier.
I see. So you can check their work, essentially.
Exactly. The article mentions BC Game having over 3,000 titles, including many of these provably fair options. It builds a different kind of trust, beyond just relying on a standard random number generator or RNG.
That is interesting. More transparency. Okay, another potential plus, lower transaction fees. Is that generally the case?
Generally, yeah. Since you're often cutting out the banks and payment processors, the fees associated with moving money can be lower. The article gives a rough comparison, maybe around $1 for a Bitcoin transaction versus potentially 3% or so for some traditional methods.
That could definitely add up, especially if you play often. Are there any catches here? Any hidden costs?
Well, one thing to watch out for, mentioned in the article, is network fees on certain blockchains, Ethereum gas fees, for example.
Ah, yes, gas fees. They can get pretty high sometimes, can't they?
They can be volatile, yeah. Depends on how busy the network is. So while overall fees might be lower, you could hit periods where specific crypto transactions cost more.
So it's not always cheaper.
Not guaranteed, no. The article does suggest a smart move, though. If you're using stable coins like USDT, choose a lower-cost blockchain to send them on, like Tron. That can help keep those fees down.
Good practical tip there. Okay, shifting gears slightly to security again. We talked about user security, but what about the platforms? Isn't blockchain supposed to be super secure?
The underlying blockchain tech is very secure, yes. Decentralized, cryptographic. It's tough to crack. But, as the article rightly points out, the weakest link is often the user's own crypto wallet.
Right. If something gets access to your personal wallet keys.
Then your funds are gone. The casino platform itself might be secure, but if your end isn't, you're vulnerable.
So a lot of responsibility falls on the user. What do the casinos themselves do to protect the funds they hold?
Good platforms employ strong measures. The article uses BitStars as an example, mentioning they use cold storage.
Cold storage, like keeping it offline.
Exactly. Keeping the vast majority of cryptocurrency reserves completely disconnected from the internet in secure offline wallets makes it much, much harder for hackers to access.
Okay, that's reassuring.
But yeah, on the user side, the article hammers home the basics. Strong, unique passwords enable two-factor authentication 2FA wherever possible. Consider using a hardware wallet if you're dealing with significant amounts. And always, always double-check website URLs to avoid phishing scams trying to steal your logins.
All critical stuff in any online activity, really. Now, a big one, regulation. What's the deal with licenses and oversight in the crypto casino world? Is it the Wild West?
It's variable. That's probably the best word. The article clarifies that some crypto casinos do operate with licenses. It mentions 7-Bit holding a Curacao license, for example.
Okay, so some are regulated.
Some are, but it also points out that many others operate entirely without formal regulatory oversight.
And the risk there is pretty obvious, I guess. Playing on an unlicensed site.
Yeah, the primary risk is just a higher chance of running into scams, unfair games, or simply not getting paid out. The article strongly recommends sticking to platforms that have been vetted. Using resources like Casino Rankalite ABC, the source we're looking at, can be a good starting point to find more reputable options.
So a license offers at least some level of accountability and player protection.
Generally, yes, it provides a framework. Even if the jurisdiction, like Curacao, isn't the strictest, it's usually better than no oversight at all.
Makes sense. The article also touches on community and mobile play. What does it say there?
It highlights that there are often quite active communities around these crypto casinos. Think platforms like X, Telegram, Discord.
And getting involved there has benefits.
Apparently so. You can share tips, find out about special bonuses. The article mentions things like free spins or promo codes popping up in stake.us chats, for instance. Can help with strategy, too, or uncovering exclusive offers.
Huh. Adds a social layer you might not expect. And playing on your phone. How's the mobile experience?
Generally pretty solid, according to the article. Mobile apps often have really smooth integration with crypto wallets.
Easier than desktop sometimes.
Potentially, yeah. The article mentions 7-Bit's app for betting on the go and even suggests it can sometimes be less clunky than scanning QR codes between your phone and computer.
Interesting. Okay, nearly there. Finally, and this is non-negotiable, really responsible gambling.
Absolutely critical. The article drives this home. Gambling should always be seen purely as entertainment.
Not a way to make money?
Definitely not. Not a solution to financial problems. It stresses practical steps.
Yeah.
Set firm budgets before you play. Use the deposit limit tools that most casinos offer.
Take breaks?
Take regular breaks, yeah. And it mentions GamCare as a resource if you feel like your gambling might be becoming a problem. Getting help is key.
Such an important message. Responsible play is what keeps it fun and stops it from becoming harmful.
Couldn't agree more. It has to be sustainable.
All right, let's wrap up this deep dive. Based on this Casino Rankalite ABC article, what are the main takeaways for someone listening about crypto casinos?
Okay, I think the article shows they definitely offer some compelling advantages, notably that transaction speed, the potential for greater privacy, and these innovative, provably fair games offering transparency. But you absolutely have to balance that against the risks. The big ones being the volatility of the crypto itself and the fact that the regulatory landscape is still, developing and inconsistent.
And your top recommendations, drawing from the article, for anyone thinking about trying them out.
Number 1, choose your platform carefully. Look for licensed, reputable sites. Use vetting resources. Number 2, take your crypto securities seriously. Secure that wallet.
Use 2FA, strong passwords.
All of that. And number 3, fundamentally, practice responsible gambling. Set limits, stick to them, know when to stop.
Sound advice. So when you look at this mixed cutting-edge tech meeting the age-old allure and risks of gambling, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What does the rise of crypto casinos really signal about where online entertainment is heading, and maybe where our personal responsibility lies in navigating these new digital frontiers?
That's definitely some food for thought. The intersection of finance, tech, and entertainment is getting blurrier.
It really is. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
My pleasure.